It is Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. I know you called the Twins-Dodgers game last night in Chavez Ravine. Be honest, did you think that Carlos Correa clicked Kirby Yates to tie it up?
Not initially. I thought he got it off the end. Then I saw Outman continue to go back and back and back. And man, like the entire inning, we're down 4 runs. And the whole time I was like, if Correa gets up here with bases loaded, like this is going to be cinema, because obviously LA is where he gets booed the most. It's almost deafening when he comes up to the plate. And 106 off the bat, 29-degree launch angle. That's a homer. That should have been a grand slam, and it wasn't.
I thought it was going to be I think it was going to be a 3-run.
Oh, it was a 3-run because Cody Clemens had the sac fly before. You're right, but it would have tied the game.
Yep. And by the way, the Dodgers suffered yet another injury to their bullpen. Checking in on Tanner Scott on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, it's a forearm thing. It looked like a hamstring to me.
Right?
It was a forearm.
Yeah. That could be bad news. We'll see, and we'll see if it could affect the trade market if he's out for a considerable amount of time. Remember, they already lost Michael Kopech. He's on the 60-day injured list, on top of Blake Trinan and everybody else being on the injured list out there in Dodgerland. Let's really get this going with a tip of the cap for the most nonchalant catch of the year. It's by a police officer down in the bullpen in Tampa. Look at him. Just snag it. I don't even know what he had in his hand that would have interfered with it. He just took it, fired it back. This is pretty badass. I got to be honest with you.
Was it like a box of popcorn or something? What was that?
It was amazing. Look at him, just hanging out. Yeah. No.
As a guy that recently dropped a foul ball at Dodger Stadium, I'm happy for him. It's embarrassing if you drop something, and he just made it look so cool.
So you're saying he could have played third base in the show?
Maybe. If only he didn't get injured his senior year.
Interesting. I'll tell you whose team he can't play for right now. That's the Toronto Blue Jays, because they just got too many players that are playing at a high level. They now have won a franchise record 11 straight home games. They take the opener of the battle between the top 2 teams in the AL East.
And this is hooked to left field, and it's into the corner. Springer is in to score. Guerrero is getting the wave. And he'll come into a 2-run double for Bichette to give the Blue Jays the lead.
We love the support. You look up at 6:45 and the place is full. It's a really cool feeling, and the guys, they feel that. Everyone feels that, and we're comfortable here for sure. And when you get the support behind you, it makes it easy to just go play.
So that's the one active stadium I have yet to go taking a ball game at. Shame on me. I need to get up
to Chris. That's one of the best atmospheres there is.
Yeah, it is. So whether they've been good or not good in recent years, that place rocks, doesn't it?
It's more so when they're good, or it's like a big day, Canada Day and certain days of the year. Like if they're struggling, it's not always like a crazy atmosphere. But when the team is performing like the way they are now, or there's like some sort of festive holiday, they show up, and it's fun, man.
How shocked are you that this organization, these guys in charge, not just John Schneider, but Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, the leadership of that team, that they were all allowed to continue after last season's failure?
I mean, and I don't really ever think about front office moves like that, to be honest with you. So I don't really have a good answer. I think that they had a lot of good pieces in place, and maybe the thought process was, hey, look, we put together this roster, and yes, before the season, what are we going to do with Vladdy? Bo's a free agent at the end of the year. Some of our pitchers are aging, but this maybe was the last hurrah, kind of seemed like that. And then they signed Vladdy, and I think that extends the window a little bit, and obviously they've performed. So I don't know how shocked I am. I haven't put too much thought into it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am a little surprised. I thought maybe they would have blown it up a little bit in the offseason.
No, Vladdy doesn't return then with turnover like that, I don't think. I think that contingency of people had the best shot of signing him?
Yeah, I don't know, because don't you remember what was said in spring training? Remember Vladdy had his press conference? He's like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. Like, I guess we'll revisit it and I'll end up being a free agent. That was the narrative coming out of spring training. Now, of course, when you hear that sort of stuff, you always kind of look at it a little bit like this, because you know that sides are always continuing to talk when they say, no, we've tabled discussions. It's always happening behind closed doors. But, for years, the Blue Jays were expected with this franchise and the sort of veterans that they were bringing in, high-priced talent, to contend. And the last 2 years, it just has not happened to the degree that they made the playoffs, right, in 2023, and they lost to your Twins, I believe. But last year was an unmitigated disaster. I thought for sure that there were going to be heads that were going to roll, and I thought veterans were going to get traded.
We thought about it. We talked about all the guys they had, like expiring contracts and veterans. So yeah, it could have happened, but I guess they decided, let's give it one last try. Let's go try to sign Vladdy and go do it. And now it's funny because all the names that are producing for them, I feel like aren't the names we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's really been guys that have Barger. Ernie Clement has been phenomenal for them all year.
There's a ton of guys. I mean, Schneider and Lucas. I mean, I know I mentioned my guy Heineman sometimes in jest because he's my buddy, but he's had such a phenomenal year. And I don't know if people know like his backstory. He's had probably some of the worst off the field couple of years that you can have. His dad passed away. Fire burned his house down, his childhood home down. Like yeah, it's been bad for him, and he's turning that into something special.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. The Jays actually, they got a 4-run fifth. It was the only inning in which they scored. They were aided by a couple of errors on the Yankees' left side. Peraza had one that extended the inning. Then Anthony Volpe had his AL worst 12th error, a throwing error, and that plated yet another run, kept the inning going the whole bit. So Aaron Boone was asked about it afterward. Here we go.
I get it. That's the separator of when he wins a Gold Glove and when he's not. He's still a top shortstop. He hasn't made a few plays that have generated a lot of noise.
Okay, this is not the first time that Aaron Boone has come to Anthony Volpe's defense publicly. Do you think that he ought to change his tact a little bit when it comes to those answers? Or do you like that he's protecting his dude?
I honestly don't care what – it doesn't matter what he says to the media. It's what he's saying to Volpe. I think that's the most important part. Like I'm down with him having a player's back. I think that would – if you truly want Volpe to be better this year, this is the way you go about it. You don't blow him up in the media. You can go talk to him and maybe blow him up to his face and bring him into your office and say, you got to be better, which I'm sure they've talked to him about that. And some guys, and when you're a manager, you have to manage personalities. And you have to know, hey, maybe there is a guy that needs to get blown up in the media. And maybe Volpe's a guy that would struggle even more if he blew him up in the media. So I think that he understands. If there's anything I think Aaron Boone understands, it's how to manage personalities. He has to deal with a plethora of different types, managing the Yankees. I think he's done a good job with the media. Yankees fans might not like it because they're screaming into, the screen like, this guy's had a bad year. It's not good defensively. I don't agree with what Boone just said right there. I don't think it's been a couple plays or the difference between a Gold Glove and what we're seeing out of Volpe this year. I disagree with that, but I don't disagree with having a player's back. So I think you have to take that into consideration. What type of motivation does Volpe need? He needs something right now. I mean, he needs defensive work. I don't know if, look, at the beginning, when you sent these questions, I was like, maybe his offense is leaking into his defense, but he's never really been a strong offensive player. So I think it's more of a success begets success, and same thing with failures. Like he's made a few errors, a few throwing errors this year. The footwork is always a little weird to me with him, and it seems a little rushed. But once you start having some throwing errors, and I'm a guy that's had throwing errors before. Like I got moved out for shortstop because I had difficulty getting the ball to first base. That ball, it starts to feel smaller and smaller and smaller in your hands. It feels like a foreign object sometimes. That's just because your brain is like, oh, here we go again. So whenever I talk about guys that have throwing issues, or I'll talk to players that have throwing issues, and I'll tell them, this is what you got to do. You got to get your ass out there pregame, whenever it is, during BP, and you got to throw across the diamond, and you got to chuck that ball. It can't just be like lollipop, regular ground balls tossing over. You got to go try game speed as much as possible. And you just got to throw. And if you airmail a few during that time and you're like worried about being embarrassed about it, it's going to be on TV because it probably will because there's cameras everywhere. Who cares? Like, you got to get rid of it. You just got to go throw, get that feeling back. And mentally you have to get back to being confident with that ball in your hand, because right now, over the season, and Jimmy just put a great little breakdown of all his errant throws this year. It just looks like he's gripping the ball with his entire hand. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about, like the ball feeling small. So something's got to give. I don't know who the Yankees would bring up to be the shortstop. I'm not familiar with their farm system. I think they'd have to go outside of it to make an improvement. But to me, that's what Volpe's got to do. Go out there and just toss the ball across the diamond. Maybe even go to the outfield, make some throws home, get that backspin.
Well, so there's a few things going on here. And the first one is that Aaron Boone consistently gets criticized by a lot of Yankee fans because he has yet to take a shot at Volpe. And I agree with you. What happens behind closed doors is the end-all, be-all. We don't care. I personally don't care what the fans think about any of that stuff. It shouldn't matter. And those could be two totally different things. What Aaron Boone says to the media and what Aaron Boone says to Anthony Volpe. And if you're a Yankee fan, you have to hope that that's the thing. I suppose the question is there kind of a happy medium that should be taking place? Shouldn't he be a little bit more like, yeah, you know what? He's not playing up to the standards that he set for himself a little earlier in his career, but I'm confident he can get there with the hard work that he puts in. Like, that's what he did was, yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of plays that have knocked him off of a Gold Glove tact. And it sounds like that. I don't know. Couldn't he go that route?
I didn't love that answer. And I agree. He could say that, but here's what I think Boone understands about the market that he's in. Volpe's going to be confronted with those questions from the media already. So, like, what's the difference? Like, why does he need to go out there and say that? I do agree. If he came out and said, yeah, he's not playing up to his standard, but I think he'll get there. We're confident in Volpe. Like, that's a little shot and still having his back. Like, that's a good answer, no doubt. You're very good at. You always are really good about giving good answers. PR is your thing. But again, I think that Boone understands the New York media is going to pepper Volpe with questions, is going to, get on him about that already. So like he feels like maybe I don't need to pile on.
Yeah. The last thing I would say is I do wonder if the Yankees sit down in the offseason and wonder if they need to solidify that position more. If he's going to play defense like this, because he's never had an OPS season over 700 in his career, and he's going to have close to 2,000 plate appearances by the end of the season for his career, I think it's something they're going to have to think about.
That's what they say. Like 1,500 plate appearances, you kind of start to know what kind of hitter you are.
Yep.
Look, I think I misread the question wrong when you sent it over about the Blue Jays because it was more front office based, and I think we need to give a little bit more love to what the Blue Jays are doing on the field and what the players have done. I mean, Vladdy's having a good year.
Not great
year. George Springer has been incredible, especially to start the year. Lately, Bo Bichette has really turned it on, but it has been that supporting cast. The Low Perfidos, the Lucases, you know how much I love Barger. Those guys, it's next man up mentality. And like Volpe, you have an air and it kind of runs in and starts to get in your mind. Those guys started to have a little success at the beginning of the year and they liked it. And they truly, you say next man up mentality, but you have to like do it first. Like that doesn't just come out of nowhere. Like you have to do it. And then it just starts to happen more and more as you believe in each other. And there's a lot of guys who've been DFA'd before, guys who, maybe haven't had the best start to their career, but they've really rallied around each other. And I think that you have to give credit to the coaching staff as well for kind of creating that atmosphere, maybe some of the veterans as well. But this team they're for real. They play defense. They hit with runners in scoring position. They hit for average, which I think really matters in today's game. And I think they have a chance to get better. The pitching staff, their starting rotation has been okay. The bullpen has really good numbers, but there's been some ups and downs there as well. So if they can find a way to get better pitching, I think they found something on the offensive side. So I just want to make sure we give the Blue Jays their love.
Totally.
It's been really, really fun to watch.
And I think that they're going to add
they haven't even lost to the Yankees yet, right? Are they undefeated against the Yankees this year?
Well, I know that they're unbeaten in July. They've won 5 straight against them in July. I think earlier this year, maybe they.
I'm going to look right now, Chris. You just wait 1 second, bro.
Seal it because we got to get going on some.
No, they're 6-2.
Okay, 6-2, still pretty good. All right, now time from the, we haven't seen a game end like that in 5 decades file. We present the conclusion of the Red Sox Phillies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Philadelphia is challenging that there was catcher's interference on the play.
Can you imagine?
Oh, my goodness, there was.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. There is catcher's interference.
Wow! The Phillies have won on a catcher's interference.
Hey, tag your bags.
Baseball is amazing.
Tom McCarthy with maybe the quote of the year, baseball is amazing. The Phillies actually challenged that play because it originally was not called by the home plate umpire of catcher's interference. First time we've seen a game end like that since 1951, but Carlos Narvaez, don't worry, you have company. The catcher back in the day on the losing side for the Cincinnati Reds was none other than maybe the greatest ever at the position, Johnny Bench. So there you go.
Unbelievable.
Is this a wow moment for you, or are you like, God, that kind of sucks? Weird way to.
It is baseball, and I know what he was saying. I don't love the quote, baseball is amazing. After that, it's kind of ridiculous. I think what he meant to say is baseball is weird, because it is. There's so many different things that can happen. We talk about all the time. You watch baseball your whole life, and you can still see something you've never seen before. I didn't see the Johnny Bench play, so this is something I haven't seen before. I hate it. It sucks, dude. It was bases loaded, nobody out. So, the Phillies, win probability was what at that point? A ton. But if you're the Red Sox, and look, Narvaez, that's his fault. You can't reach like that. You gotta understand in relation to the batter, everything. He was trying to pull that pitch back, and it's maybe he was getting desperate because he understands the situation as well, trying to steal a strike there. But it's brutal. You want to see the game end in a real way.
I think the Red Sox catchers lead baseball in catcher's interference. I think that was their 8th one this year. That
was a thing for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty drastic number. That's something they obviously have to look at. A few things. Number one, good job by the Phillies bench coach. I believe his name is Mike Calitri, who told Topper, go challenge that.
Him, though. Did he see it right away, or did he just get on the phone?
No, he said he did. He saw it right away.
Okay.
That's what Topper said. He did a really, really good job. So good call there. To me, the only other game that I have seen that ended in a weird way was 1995 between the Pirates and the Dodgers. This is Angelo Encarnacion is the catcher there. Do you know what he did wrong?
I remember, yeah. Yep. You can't use your helmet.
He scooped it up with his mask, and there was no call originally on the field. So Tommy Lasorda came out and he said, hey, listen, he scooped up the ball with his mask. That is illegal. So the umpires all got together, and sure enough, that was it. By the way, it's Tommy Lasorda on one side and Jim Leland managing for the Pirates on the other. So
good.
Yeah, that's 2 Hall of Fame skippers going at it. And Leland, I'm sure, probably had just put out a cig in the dugout to go out there. And
Jim Leland was 25 years old in that picture.
Yeah. Dude, we got some classic Pirates in that shot. Orlando Merced at first base, Jay Bell at shortstop. It's a pretty good team. And by the way, that Dodger win came a couple days after they had to forfeit the game against the St. Louis Cardinals at home because the Dodgers game out signed baseballs, and there were some bad calls, and the fans started throwing baseballs onto the field. And with 2 outs in the 9th, Balk and Bob Davidson, one of the umpires, like, everybody get off the field. You forfeit. That's it. So that happened. 2 of those things happened to the Dodgers in a week. Talk about weird ways to end games.
I miss Bob.
Balk and Bob?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him?
Of course, yeah. I liked him a ton. He was ornery, just like Jim Leland was ornery. But then when you actually got to talking, you're like, I like this guy.
Interesting. Did
I tell
All
you?
right.
Hold on.
What?
I have a Jim Leland story. Have I shared this with you? About the Hall of Fame and Nick Punto?
I don't know. I love Jim Leland stories, though.
Quick. I know we got stuff to do. So we're sitting there, and like if you go to the Cooperstown, the hotel everyone stays at, there's this massive fire pit, and guys like huddle up around it at the end of the night. Dude, it's crazy. Like the people that are there, it's like baseball legends, and here I am, like sipping on an old fashioned. Like this is cool. I felt great. Jim Leland's there. Obviously, played against him a ton. Famously a cigarette smoker. He'd smoke on the team plane. He'd be out on the bench, like prior to anybody being on the field, just smoking heaters. So there he was doing his thing. And I told Nick Punto, I was like, man, like, I think I got to go like have a cigarette with Jim Leland. I don't smoke cigarettes. Nobody smokes cigarettes anymore. Don't ever. And he's like, yeah. And before I could even like attempt it, Nick Punto just walks over to Jim Leland, takes a cigarette out of his hand and starts dragging it, and then they just start having a conversation. Leland was kind of stunned at first, but then he saw it was Nick Punto and the guy that he's managed against a ton, and they just like started laughing, chopping it up, and I was like, that's the coolest thing.
Wait a second. Punto stole your skit?
He just went over and took his cigarette. He didn't ask him for one. He just went and grabbed it out of his hand.
So you didn't join him?
No.
Oh, man. So Nick Punto has this.
It was enough for me to see that happen, dude. I was really trying to like be on my best behavior at that thing. I was like, I don't belong here whatsoever.
And if people are wondering, you were up there because Joe Mauer's inducted.
Yes. I was not getting inducted. No.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify. I think it's
not yet.
Not yet. Still time. And we are going to put together a hell of a push for you. There will be no media push quite like the one of John Boy Media behind Trevor Plouffe getting into the Hall of Fame.
Sheesh.
Can't wait to see that start. Shout out to Mountain Dew for sponsoring today's episode. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew, it's perfect for any occasion, whether it's beach days, a boat day, out on the golf course, going to the ballpark, or just about anything in between. You know where we really love it? The warehouse. And we got Floorball 3 that is coming up in the near future. So you know what that means? Dalton Feely's going to be intravenously fed Mountain Dew because that's the way the dude likes to roll. He loves it. He is a bundle of energy, and he is ready to get going. But if you're not like that, it's okay. So the next time you're chilling on the beach or out on the water or out on the golf course or at the ballpark or really doing anything else, as long as you're hanging out with friends, the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew, it's the perfect pairing. So if that's what you're looking for, grab a Mountain Dew. Make your summer days even better. All right. What's going on with the San Francisco Giants? They fall to 0-4 since the All-Star break. Atlanta got them 9-5. And if you look at one play in particular, it was tough to tell which team is fighting for its playoff life and which one is severely under 500.
Ground ball, get through there. It will. And Baldwin drives in another run. Ronald's coming home. Safe. What base running from Acuna.
For those of you that are audio only, he started that play on first base, and the ball trickled through the diamond and maybe got, 50 feet past the infield, and he scored. Now, we see this at least once a year where a guy scores, from first on a ball that had no reason scoring on. But I want to give a tip of the cap to Ronald Acuna, because remember at the beginning of his career, we had a hard time getting him out of the box at some point to run on balls that were bouncing off the walls. Now he's scoring from first. I think it says a lot about who he has become as a player.
Well, he just has these tools in the bag. We've seen incredible plays from him now, throwing 1,000 feet on his back foot to throw the runner out at third base. And now we see this play, and you just can tell the type of dynamics he has.
Yeah, but that's more than tools, Trevor. That is want.
Want?
That is want on top of tools. Yes, you have to be able to cut bags and run well, but you have to want. He would have been, if he had stopped at third, we would have been
but want is what he just was running fast. I mean, wanting what? He wanted to score because he understood where it was a good baseball play. He saw where Lee was to start. Checked his outfield, right? Number one thing you got to do when you're on the base pass is know where the defenders are. Checked his outfield. That ball, gets past second base. He understands how slowly it was hit. And then you have to give the third base coach credit. Don't know who the third base coach of the Braves is because they've gone through a few, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. So, he's waving him, telling him continue to go, and probably not a big arm, probably like this. I didn't see the third base coach. But yeah, I mean, it's want, I guess, but you have to also be fast. I could want to do that, or you could want to do that, and it ain't happening. So he has the tools to get the job done, and you're right, he didn't slow down one bit. So the intent was there. The baseball IQ was there to understand that I could do this. You're taught to run until you get stopped, full bore until you see the third base coach or base coach stop you. That's what he did right there. I think, the angles were really impressive because to get around the bases that fast, you have to have great angles. You can't, be taking these, elongated angles. It was a very heady baseball play. So we're seeing a guy with incredible tools, with also some baseball IQ right there. It's like no one's ever questioned the ability, but I think you got to applaud, like you're saying, the want, I agree, but also just the IQ to understand there is a possibility for him to score right there.
Freddie Gonzalez, by the way, is the one they brought.
Freddie, that's right.
After they made the change earlier this year when they had the snafu, that part was not good, but this was. All right, so what about the other side of this? Let's look at it from the Giants lens, if you will. Here's their skipper on that play.
It's just, Casey's still kind of learning the position too. It's just a bad look when you're playing like that and something like that happens in a game like this where we look terrible. So just another instance today that was not a good look for us.
All right, so they fall to 3.5 out of the wild card chase. They've dropped 6 in a row dating back to right before the All-Star break. Does it feel like it's slipping away?
I don't know if it's ever really felt like they were there. I know there's been some streaks for the Giants as well, but I think you look at the team and kind of what they've been doing offensively, nobody with an OPS over 800, so they're kind of like, I wouldn't even call it really middling there. They have to kind of play perfect baseball offensively to get the job done right now, and that's not what you want. Devers hasn't been the savior of that offense that maybe people thought he would be, and the bullpen's been great. They've had some good starting pitching, but not enough of it. So it just seems like they really haven't rounded into form. Look, again, they've had some streaks, but it just, to me, never seemed like they were a top NL team. It seemed like they could sneak into a wild card. That's like the most I've felt about the Giants this year. And tell me I'm wrong. I got my Giants hat on right now. Giants fans, tell me if I'm wrong. It just has never felt like, hey, we're watching one of the elite teams in the National League.
Well, you know where I sit on their offense. I've said it all season long. Of course, that was all prior to the Devers trade, and he has not lived up to it. He has 2 homers and a slug under 340 in the 30 games that he's been with the San Francisco Giants. That is not good enough. I wonder, and I'm not so sure that Buster Posey would want to take this tact in his first year, particularly after kind of clearing out what little prospect capital he had in that Devers trade. I'm trying to think where he's going to go in a week and a half, dude. I mean, is this one of these teams that could play their way out of being a buyer and become a seller?
I think they stand pat.
Man, isn't that
which is crazy? I mean, because I've just said like they've been a middling team. I mean, right now, Chris, the offense, the numbers look like numbers you'd expect from the Chicago White Sox. No offense, White Sox fans. 26th in average, 24th in OPS, 22nd in runs, 25th in home runs. They don't steal bases either. They're 27th in baseball in that. It's they have to be perfect. They have to hit. If they get a guy in runners with a runner in scoring position, they have to drive him in because they're not manufacturing runs. They're not doing anything like that.
Yeah. Well, they're starting pitching. Last night, Hayden Birdsong did not record an out. Yeah. He walked 4 guys. And there's no way they're going to let him go back out there. He's had trouble controlling the ball. I mean, Melvin was non-committal to him, but he's like, yeah, that can't happen. It can't happen. The only times they really feel good right now are when Logan Webb, who did not pitch great this weekend in Toronto, and Robbie Ray are on the mound. And other than that, it's like you're holding your breath, and they just feel like a 500 team, and they do have some pieces, I think, that could be traded. And I'm not just talking about guys that are up after this year like Yastrzemski and Wilmer Flores. I'm talking about Camilo Doval could be traded. He has another year of control left. Robbie Ray is a guy that I bet you would fetch a ton and help you replenish that system. But I don't know. Can you start off the year by trading for Rafael Devers and then unloading mid-year and not get criticized if you're Buster Posey?
I don't think they trade away guys. I mean, maybe a bullpen piece. Maybe they try to, addition by subtraction. I don't even know what that means. But I'm like, if you actually look at their lineup, you name value, you're like, this should be an above average offense. And just it's clearly not. I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee, Elliot Ramos has, both those guys have shown at times to be above average players. Then you got Devers, Adames, Matt Chapman. Yastrzemski has, proven to be an above average bat, but it just hasn't happened for them.
Yeah. By the way, I will amend it. Landon Roop has pitched pretty well. So they feel good, I guess, with and
Bray and Webb are great.
They will claim that Verlander has pitched better than his numbers, but here we are at the end of July, and the guy still has yet to win his first game as a Giant. So something is weird, and something is off there. I don't know. Let us know, Giants fans, where we sit with this whole thing. Do you want to see them sell or try and buy a little and maybe try and catch the Padres or one of these other wild card teams?
How far are they out again? Let me look right now.
What's that?
In the wild card, they are 3.5 out.
Yeah, they're right there with the Cardinals and the Reds, who are both, I think, 3.5 out, aren't they?
Yep.
Okay. A lot of teams. You
said the Diamondbacks should sell, and they're 5.5 games out.
Because I really think
about the Giants.
But I think the guys that the Giants have to sell, it's not the guys in their walk year that would get anything, unlike Arizona, who I do think have guys in their walk year. I think you have to really make a commitment to your future if you're going to give up the two best guys that could get returns in Robbie Ray and Doval.
I got a Chris Rose question for you right now.
Yeah.
As currently
constructed
in place as we are right now.
Yes.
Milwaukee, Chicago Cubs, Dodgers, Phillies, Mets, San Diego. Those are the playoffs teams.
Yep.
You mentioned the other teams are 3.5 back. Is the NL playoff picture set?
Ooh. Such a good question. We will ask it next week.
Oh, my God.
That's a really good one. You know what? You get a gold star on the chart today.
Sound off in the comments.
Nice. All right, no need to worry about Jose Ramirez. Dude keeps doing it. Piling up the numbers. Went deep in the first inning last night. 20th homer of the year. That gives him his 7th 2020 season. Only Barry and Bobby Bonds and Bobby Abreu have more, Stephen Vogt.
Just unbelievable, the consistency. I think we talk a lot about Jose and we run out of adjectives, and we all love watching him play. I mean, it's one of the big reasons we love our jobs here is we get to watch him play. But the consistency of 2020, keeping your body fresh to be able to do it, the longevity that he's done it, for, it just is so impressive.
Okay. Should we make a bigger deal out of what Jose Ramirez has done, or because of the new step-off rule that was implemented a few years ago, does the stolen base number not have the sexiness that it once had?
I mean, I think it still has the sexiness. I think that it's easier to steal bases than ever. But, there's been a lot of changes throughout baseball in its history that have, made certain things easier. I mean, we raised the mound. Or we lowered the mound, excuse me, after what? The season 1971?
68.
68. I was close. How about that? Okay. Mm-hmm. We added games. So, when Roger Maris was going after the home run record, he was doing it in more games than Babe Ruth, and we didn't care about that. So, or maybe some people at that point did, but we don't care about that now. Yeah, like has it easier to steal bases than ever? Yes, but we also have to remember that he's like getting older. So like usually at age 30 or maybe even age 28, guys start to just not run anymore. Like he's still doing it, playing elite defense. He just does everything right. So I don't think we should be taking anything away from Jose Ramirez. And I don't think anybody really does. I think universally now it's taken the baseball zeitgeist a while to get there, but like we're looking at one of the better third basemen to ever play the game. Like I don't think that's far-fetched. So we're there with them. You can say both things can be true. You can say that it's easier to steal bases than ever and still have immense respect for, like what Steven said, the remarkable consistency of his career. Because I'm looking at his page right now. It's insane how consistent he's been.
It is. Better career than Nolan Arenado?
I got to look at the numbers, Chris. I don't have that off the top of my head like you do.
Just what about for a guy who played the position? Just give me a yes/no feeling on this. Better
more
than
consistent career. I think Nolan's had a lot of more like wow moments.
Okay. Matt Chapman.
I would say better. I would say Nolan Arenado better defender, and I would say Jose Ramirez better offensive player.
Okay.
And I would say the same thing for Chapman. Better defender, less of an offensive career by far for Chapman.
How close are Manny Ramirez and Jose Ramirez? I combined the two names. How close are Jose Ramirez and Manny Machado to one another in terms of the baseball pantheon?
I think they're a lot closer than people would think. Manny's obviously further on, or is he further on in his career? I always think Manny's older than he is. He's 34, maybe?
I think Manny is 33. But
they're like the same age.
19.
Yeah. I mean, Jose Ramirez got up at 20, but, short.
And he didn't have a role on a team for a while.
Yeah, not until 2016 was kind of like when he started to be a full-time player. 2015, a little bit.
15.
I'd probably go Machado, but they're like neck and neck. And if Jose continues to perform at this pace, like, does he have a chance to pass Manny? Like, maybe.
Interesting.
I'd still go Manny, though.
I will say this, obviously.
Where do you land on all those?
I would put him above Chapman and Arenado. To me, it's really not even close. I mean, the guy can dominate a baseball game in the batter's box and on the base paths. And
I think we're forgetting how good Arenado has been.
He has been.
850 career OPS. The offense has been down as of late, but an 850 career OPS he's 350 homers. Fuck, how many Gold Gloves?
What is his OPS since he joined the Cardinals? I'm just curious.
10-time Gold Glove, 6-time Platinum Glove, 5-time Silver Slugger for Arenado. I think we're kind of shortchanging him because possibly a recency bias. Since he's been to St. Louis, what do you want to know?
I'm going to guess that his OPS with St. Louis is high sevens.
784. It was 890 with Colorado.
Interesting.
Okay, let's just do this a little bit more. Career 57.7 WAR, 850 OPS for Nolan Arenado.
Mm-hmm.
For Jose Ramirez, 55.6, 858 OPS. I mean, they are like neck and neck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I nailed it. I think better defensive player Arenado.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Ramirez, more consistent offensive player.
Yes.
But 350 homers for Nolan.
Yeah.
That's 75 more than...
What year did he come up?
He first came up in 2013. Same.
Wow.
But he was a full-time player in 2013. He won the Gold Glove. I mean,
his Gold Glove run was ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a fun conversation. I mean, we've seen incredible third basemen over the last 15 years.
Let us know who you like the most and why.
That's a fun conversation.
In the comments section. All right, last thing before we get out of here, and this is really good. Four-time NBA champion Klay Thompson, now the Dallas Mavericks, throwing out the first pitch with a Rangers helmet on. Now, for people that don't know, his brother Trace obviously has been a major leaguer with several teams. That's a pretty good first pitch. I want you to listen, though, to his description of why he loves baseball.
I love baseball. It's really a pastime of this country. You think of some of the best athletes ever, they played this game, and it's just one of the most beautiful sports because it's the most individual team sport ever. Like, you out there by yourself in the batter's box or on the mound, and you really got to rely on who's behind you or who's behind you in the lineup. So it's a very unique in its own way.
I mean, talk about a guy who nailed why you should love this sport.
Yeah, it's great. He also went on to say, best first pitch ever. He goes, I saw George W. throw it. That was nice, but he didn't have the heat behind it like I did. It was a great first pitch, by the way.
It was. And he was in. Now,
he looks like Volpe throwing those big old hands around the ball. That's what Volpe looks like right now.
He took hacks before the game. He was a little disappointed. I don't think he hit one out. I actually was doing intentional talk at Dodger Stadium a bunch of years ago when he was taking BP, and he hit one out during our show. And we were talking to him, and I could swear, remember, his dad, Michael Thompson, was the number 1 overall pick in 1977, I believe, by the Blazers. So he grew up in Portland with Kevin Love. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were on the same Little League team that lost in the game that would have won them the West Regional or something like that, or whatever it was. It was one step shy of
the Western Regionals. That would have been,
not getting to Williamsport, but something big. So I think that always stuck with him a little bit. But he loves the game. He was always at Giants games when he was with the Warriors, and now good to see him spreading his wings down there with the Mavericks and the Rangers. Good.
There's always sections of a baseball player's life that they truly remember. The first one is 12-year-old baseball. That's like when you really have core memories. Then in high school, you'd get it again, and then whatever. But like 12-year-old baseball, that's like the youth. That's when it matters, kind of, which is silly. That, like, I'm saying that out loud sounds silly, but like it's true. Like, I remember 12-year-old baseball. That's when it, you're like, everyone can throw, everyone can catch. We're getting some velo, we're hitting homers. Like, that's when it really starts to be like, okay, this is baseball.
And I just love that because I love hearing other athletes talk about sports that they don't play, and they're passionate about it. Like, a lot of NFL players love the NBA. A lot of NBA players, there's not a ton of crossover to baseball. Like, I love hearing when A.J. Brown of the world champion Philadelphia Eagles talks about his baseball days. He is still passionate about it. Gets me going. I dig it.
I dig it too.
I'm in. All right, we're back at it again on Wednesdays. We get one day closer to the trade deadline, so teams start making your moves sooner rather than later. We don't all have to do it on July 31st, Just a little PSA, my yearly PSA.
I haven't even thought about notifications, the passing bombs. Like, they're coming, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Tidal wave's coming.
I'm just like tunnel vision right now. We got stuff going on. It's been a whirlwind of a month, but like, it ain't about to stop. It's about to start going.
It is going. Speaking of us, we are gone. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.